Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit that subscribe button if you're new so you don't miss any of our great football content this season. Okay, so I want to go through, and I don't know if we'll do this on a weekly bit, but I want to go through the NFL week one odds. Now, I'm going to throw a couple games at you, and just a couple games that I looked at and they kind of jumped out to me. So, you know my feeling on Seattle. I like Sam Darnold, but I also think this is a really good coach. And so one of the lines that confuses me a little bit is that Seattle at home is getting 2.5 points. Give me your take on the Niners' health. I mean, they have real issues at wide receiver. So if they're going to beat Seattle, it's going to be some running game. You're not throwing the ball downfield a ton on Seattle, and I think Seattle's pass rush is going to be pretty good. I'm surprised. It's my favorite pick of the week is Seattle at home plus points. First of all, it's a division rivalry, so these games are always close. So I love taking even average Pittsburgh teams historically can cover against much better Baltimore rosters. Division games, I generally take the points, but Seattle, I think top to bottom, has more athletes in their prime. Hufanga gone, Greenlaw gone, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey not in their prime. I think Seattle has more athletes in their prime. Are you surprised by that line?
I think the market believes that Seattle's not going to be that great because they're 5-1 to win the division. And the 49ers are like plus 150. So based on the divisional odds, they are a heavy long shot. If you look at every division, they by far are the only team that has been good the last several years, 9 wins, 10 wins, and it feels like Vegas gives them no chance to win. And this is a good example. Juwan Jennings, this was at practice today, so they've rekindled. So you got Juwan Jennings back with Pearsall, Kittle, McCaffrey. Like they actually are offensively, in theory, healthy. Trent Williams, Purdy coming into this game. I just think the market is pretty low on Seattle. You and I are high on them. My problem is whenever I bet on the Niners aggressively, Super Bowls, they've bit me in the ass. And whenever I bet against them, they always come through and win. So I kind of stay away from the Niners. But to me, there is not a better long shot on the board to win their division than 5-1 Seattle. They won 10 games last year. They had the same amount of wins as the team that we treat the Rams like they're a 13, 14 win team. They won 10 games last year. I think they won 10 games the year before. And we hold them to high esteem, rightfully so, because they have a really good coach. Quarterback's back in major trouble. The 49ers, at any moment, half their team can be on injured reserve. I do not trust Kyler. It is by far of the value. There's not a better on the board. And I'm with you. Seattle can get weird. I do think divisional games, week one, can be hard to bet. Like I do think the 49ers are going to be pretty solid this year. I think they got, for the first time in years, kind of a chip on their shoulder, kind of get to fly under the radar a little bit. Sam Darnold's, this is a first start with a new team. Offense a little different than what Kevin O'Connell likes to pass a lot, which is Sam liked. I mean, they had Justin Jefferson. Kubiak, like his dad, like Kyle, he's going to call a lot of runs. And if they can run the ball, they're going to be really good, play defense. But we'll have to see. I mean, their run game, can Kenneth Walker be healthy? Charbonnet, we like, but
the Niners brought in Robert Saleh, and the reason being is they don't have the same personnel. I mean, if Bosa's dinged up, it's Fred Warner and cross your fingers. It is really I think we look at the Niners and we just, sometimes you fall into this, you romance, because for about 4 years, they just had incredible defensive personnel. They don't on the back end right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to need, kind of like the Rams. 2 years ago, you didn't know who half the roster was, and then a couple years later, they are just solidified players on defense. Not counting Verse, who they drafted high, but a lot of mid-round, late-round picks. They're going to need that to happen. And that's what the 49ers did originally, right? Kittle, 5th-round pick. Greenlaw, 5th-round pick. Purdy, 7th. They've hit on a lot of late-round picks. That's how you get good in the NFL. The Ravens let a lot of guys hit free agency. Why? Because they crushed the 3rd through the 7th rounds. Because that's where you make your hay in the NFL. Obviously, you got to hit on first-round picks, but when you get good in the NFL, it's hard to pick in the 20s. That's the one thing a lot of people are saying about the Micah trade. It's like, well, the Packers are just good back-to-back years. Let's pick 25 and 28. Right? It's hard to hit on those picks. Ask Jerry when they started winning games with McCarthy. They were drafting Tyler Guyton and Tyler Smith. It's a lot harder it's much easier to draft in the top 5 when Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell or Jaden Daniels is staring at you. So I like Seattle this year. This game to me is just, I don't know. You convinced me. Niners win, Seattle wins, Seattle kicks their ass. The Niners are in. That's why week 1, like I like a lot of like the Titans, the Panthers. I like teams like that week 1 that everyone just thinks are going to suck. Some of the times these divisional games, like Giants Commanders, like that's a stay away from me.
Yep.
I don't know. If you tell me the Giants
teams,
win, I could see it. Cowboys are the one that's like I have a hard time seeing them win.
Yeah, teams convince themselves, even if they're Tennessee, they convince themselves they're a playoff team. By week 4 or 5, you start losing guys, and everybody in the room knows. But Tennessee getting over a touchdown, the hook, I'd stay away from that one. The other game that's fascinating to me is it does matter. You're allowed in Green Bay or a Jacksonville or maybe a Seattle to have really ugly losses. You're not going to get crushed. Philadelphia, San Francisco, Chicago, it's loud. So Chicago is an underdog at home, getting a 1.5 against Minnesota, and Minnesota's a mystery team. I don't know what J.J. McCarthy is. I really do not know. I've heard enough from people I trust. I got a text by somebody I really trust a few weeks ago. He said, it's a work in progress. But if Chicago loses at home, it'll be a huge, huge night in Chicago. That shit could unravel fast. Really fast. If you had to make a prediction, what do you think the Bears and Caleb look like? Forget winning and losing. I mean, they're the underdog at home, which I kind of like that position. But what do you think it'll look like?
I think it's going to be really hard. I mean, Caleb is much more talented of a thrower, but I think there could be some parallels to the situation that we saw with Arch in Texas trying to play offense against Patricia. I mean, Flores is one of, if not the best defensive coordinator in the league right now. Their personnel has actually improved from last year. I like Minnesota in this game, but I like you. I don't expect. Hard to say JJ's going to come out and throw 3 or 4 touchdowns. We'll see. Chicago's defense a little overrated. Are they quite as good as we thought they were going to be like a year ago? I don't know, but I could see them. Like I expect this to be a lower scoring, like 17-14 type game. And if in that situation, I'm just going to take Flores in Minnesota and Kevin O'Connell. I mean, he just listen. First game at home. Gets a little weird if you have a couple 3-and-outs. Like in a moment like this, you're going to need some positive early momentum. Because if the crowd gets a little weird, if you have a couple, that first drive, I get it was a preseason game against the Bills 2s and 3s, but he drove them right down, and all of Chicago took a sigh of relief. Right? Like, oh my God, he might be okay. Because in the Ben Johnson thing, they played the Chiefs. I watched when I was flying to Hawaii that last preseason game. They got their ass kicked early on. And Ben Johnson came out and said after the game, like, that's just unacceptable. Like, that's just at this point in time, too sloppy. Well, who are the Chiefs? A big-time team that took that game seriously. Remember I told you when we were together like 2.5 weeks ago, that second preseason game, Andy, because they got their ass kicked by Seattle, the Bills, when they got their ass kicked by the Bears, that's the point in time in camp where he's been driving them. The legs are heavy. But that last preseason game is more of a ramp up, especially with Kansas City. Starters play a little bit. You take it pretty seriously. Like you're coming into that game with some oomph. Well, the Bears tried to do that too, and it did not go well. Now, in fairness, Kansas City's like a dynasty, but Minnesota's pretty good. They won 14 games last year.
Well, Minnesota's got the better roster.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like to me if Minnesota wins. It'd be, Minnesota's good, right? I don't think it's like, it'd be big if JJ plays like an elite level game. But even if he's just kind of average on the road, just win, get out of there, it's not like, we're not setting it in stone, the headline of their season. Whatever happens with the Bears, right? You lose, it gets weird, that's a major story. They win, he plays well, beats Brian Flores, that's a huge kind of monkey off everyone's back. Like, okay, we might have, there's a lot, there's not a game in the league week 1 where there's just more on the line because of the quarterback situations, the hopes of like we said, the expectation for this franchise, anything less than 9-8 will feel awful. And even 9-8, if you miss the playoffs, will be like, God, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I went through the schedule, and it looks like 8-9, 9-8 to me, and I was optimistic. I had them splitting with their division. Bears don't split with their division. They went 1-5 last year. They don't split in their division. So, okay, John and I chopped it up. We are now both going to go watch Belichick and TCU, and I can't wait for that. This is the first of 22, 23, 24 conversations on Sunday night. This is our Monday. I am back to work tomorrow, buddy, and it's great seeing you.
Awesome seeing you.